I made a big mistake. It was stressful, honey, and I ain't want to do it no more. Welcome back to my channel. What's poppin', what's poppin', what's poppington? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Brelynn. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, ring the bell the way you don't miss a notification from me, and follow me on my social media at BrelynnBarbie. Hopefully you guys can hear me so we can get to talking, because honey, we got some things to talk about. Okay, so I would be lying if I didn't say that I wasn't nervous for this video, and I don't know why. Like, okay, I know why, but it's not that deep. I mean, it's very serious. I just don't know why I'm getting nervous to talk to you guys about this, but this video is basically going to be a big update video as far as the MCAT goes, because I have now been studying for the MCAT September, October, November. So I've been studying for the MCAT for 3 months now, and oh man, these past 3 months, a lot has been going on. You guys know that I have a lot going on, and working as a medical assistant full-time has been a lot. It was like a lot more than I expected it to be. I honestly was really looking forward to working full-time. After being in school for so many years, I was like, I just want to be able to go to work, clock out at whatever amount of time, and like, you know, just live my best life. I have been vlogging for the past 6 years, and although I started off not very consistent, the past couple of years I have been very consistent because I'm dedicated to my channel. I love creating content both here and on Instagram, and now I also, you know, make money from it. So I set expectations for myself when it comes to my YouTube and my Instagram, and honestly I've never had a problem balancing it while I was in school, whether it was my master's program or undergrad. It was not until I started working full-time where I was like, this is a lot. And again, I mentioned this in a previous vlog, but you guys could literally hear in every single vlog I would say, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so stressed out, I'm so tired, I'm so this. And I think that just shows a lot about how overworked and tired I was. I just want to preface this by saying that I am so grateful to be a medical assistant. It's all been too much for me. I didn't expect for my job as a medical assistant to require so much from me. I thought that it was something that, again, I'd be able to spend my few little hours on during the day, something that would give me clinical experience, a mentor, some extra money, and then I could go ahead and live my best life. But it actually has a lot of restrictions on it. Of course, there's no traveling right now, but if I wanted to travel, it's very hard to get days off. I'm so tired after work that I can't do anything. Like, I can do nothing after work. But specifically, it's been very hard for me to balance it with my third job, which you guys know is me studying for the MCAT. I found this amazing program, thank God. If I was trying to do self-study right now, it would be even worse. But luckily, you guys know I study with the integrative MCAT tutoring program, which I have talked about in detail in my previous Road to Medical School MCAT video. I will leave that up in the cards right now if you guys want to hear more about it. But the thing is that program is also very intense. I mean, I kind of just said it casually in the video, but every single day, most Saturdays and also Sundays, we have classes every day. That's a lot. Like, it's a lot, especially because the classes, they're intense. It's a lot of information. The classes are usually for 3 to 4 hours every single night. Not only are you taking notes, but then you also want to do review problems. You want to go to special small groups and office hours and schedule one-on-ones and review them. And it's just thinking about it honestly makes me stressed out. I know a lot of you guys are looking at me in the middle of my journey and you're thinking like, oh, well, when I get there, I'm gonna do the same thing. I just have to keep it really real with you guys. I was struggling to balance both, or really all three, because it's 3 things. I have been struggling to balance all 3 things between working as a medical assistant full-time, creating content on both YouTube and Instagram, and of course, studying for the MCAT. So that led me to this huge decision of going down to part-time as a medical assistant. So instead of working all 5 days of the week, I am only working 3 days now. I made this decision a while ago. Actually, if you guys are subscribed to my newsletter, I actually let you all know there, because I just found myself just cutting out things one at a time. I was like, okay, I have to stop posting on Instagram so often. Okay, I need to stop posting on YouTube so often. Okay, I need to go from once a week newsletters to bi-weekly. Finally, it was like, I have to let go of this job, because when it really came down to it, there were two main things that inspired this decision. One is that I kept talking about it on my Instagram stories to my close friends, and one of my Spelman sisters, who's on my close friends, she messaged me and she was like, I don't know why you're working as full-time. Like, I personally could not work as full-time and study for the MCAT. And a couple of times, like in around that same week, I kept hearing people say, like, if you can study for the MCAT without working, do that. Like, do not try and do everything at once if you don't have to. And so for me, I really just had to sit down and think, okay, why am I working 40 plus hours a week? What am I getting out of this experience that I can't get with less hours? At the end of the day, this job is a great learning experience for me, and it allows me to have clinical experience and more experience in the field that I want to be in, which is OBGYN. However, me doing 25 hours versus 50 hours a week isn't really going to make a big difference, especially because I'm going to be doing this for about a year and a half in total. So I was really doing myself a disservice, overexerting myself, going to work early, leaving super late at night, and not dedicating myself to what this chapter of my life is really supposed to be, which is studying for the MCAT. So I had to have the tough conversation with my boss, but of course they're very open and understanding, which I'm so grateful for, and I was able to go down to part-time. And I feel like I've been lying to you guys a little bit, because again, it's been a minute since I've been part-time, but I still don't have my consistent schedule. I told them that I really want to have Mondays and Fridays off. That way I can have days where it is a break. Like, my big problem was that I didn't feel like I had a break at all. I felt like I had a burnout boiling up. If you guys have ever experienced a burnout before, especially for school, like, it can be a lot. And again, when you're working long hours, creating content, studying like day in and day out, I literally would go from work back to home, work to home, work to home, and I wouldn't do anything in between. I've been eating horribly. I don't have enough time to work out. I don't have enough time to get my hair done. I don't have enough time to do really anything that would make me happy or even just take care of myself. Everything that I'm doing is because I have to do it. And even though these are things that I want to do, because they're at such a heightened level, it takes out the enjoyability of them. And ultimately, I feel like I wasn't giving my best self to the parts that were super important to me. I was so tired at work every single day. I felt myself being irritable. I wasn't doing my best MCAT studying. Sometimes I would fall asleep during my classes, or I would say I would come back to do homework, but then I'd be too tired to do it the next day. And of course, YouTube and Instagram fell on the wayside. I would go weeks without posting, and it's just been like, again, a lot to balance at once. So that's the first big update. I decided to go down to part-time as a medical assistant until I'm finished studying for the MCAT and I have taken my exam, which brings me to option number 2. Oh, you guys, I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. If you guys watched some of my previous vlogs, you know that I went to Memphis, Tennessee to watch Miss USA live. That was like maybe 2 weeks ago. At this point, I did have a conversation with my manager about going down to part-time, but I physically wasn't doing less hours in the day. So I really wasn't feeling much of my relief because I didn't have a new schedule. Let me just say, that is something that I'm struggling with so hard right now. I just want to have a schedule where I know, okay, on this day, I can study for the MCAT all day. On this day, I have to go to work, then study. On this day, I can just chill, edit YouTube videos, record, go to the mall, paint my nails, sleep, go grocery shopping, meal prep. Like, I felt like every day I had a million things to do, and I just did not have enough hours in the day. The last day of my trip, which was November 10th, you guys know me, I missed my flight. Typical Brelynn, but I thought my flight was in the middle of the day and it was actually in the morning time. Whatever the case is, I ended up having to stay at the airport all day, and sometimes, man, all the times, man, God be looking out, because I would have been in the air from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and that is actually when the registration opened for the MCAT. So I had an alarm set on my phone to remind me, because I guess when I first heard about the date and I put it in my phone, I figured I would be at work because I'm always at work, but this just happened to be one of the very few days that I had off, and I went to Miss USA, and I would have been in the air and I would have missed the opportunity for me to register for the MCAT. And if you guys don't know, it's kind of like a lottery system. It's a very long line of people. I was already frustrated with the idea of having to register for the MCAT because there isn't a great testing site near my location. The best testing site in my area is in Virginia. It's a bit of a drive away, but I don't have to worry about parking, whereas somewhere that's equally as far away is DC, but I either have to pay for parking or try to get there early enough for street parking. Both of them sounded like a headache, but you guys know that I'm in Southern Maryland, and the only ones in Maryland, they were like way up near Baltimore or South Salisbury, which are just too far for me to try and drive in the morning time before test day. With all that being said, registration day was going to be super important because I wanted to be able to register at my desired location. So here it is, registration day. I'm at the airport because I missed my flight, and then my phone goes off letting me know it's time to register in 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh my goodness, thank God I missed my flight, or else I would have been hours behind. So I'm frazzled. I think at this point, actually, I went to IHOP. I went to IHOP for breakfast because I was just at the airport for hours. So I'm in IHOP, and this is when oh my gosh, guys, this is when my laptop died. If you guys don't know, my laptop was broken. So my laptop died, and I'm like, oh crap, like now I have to try and do this on my iPad or on my phone. So I'm literally in IHOP trying to like have both of my devices open, and like it just will not load. I don't have any internet service. I don't know what to do. So I leave IHOP, I go back to the airport. Finally, I'm able to sit down, plug in my laptop, and hook up to the airport's Wi-Fi. And that's when I saw that I was like, I don't even know how many people were ahead of me in line. At least 2,000, if not 3. It was something where I was like, it's over. It's over for me. It's over. Rewinding a little bit, before I went on this trip, I ended up having a meeting with the founder of my MCAT tutoring program, telling her how I was struggling trying to balance both. We send in bi-weekly progress reports, and she saw that even though I was attending a lot of the live lectures, I wasn't really doing well with keeping up with the homework. So she suggested that I move into the March class. So the class that I'm currently in is geared to take the exam in January. But there was another class that was starting very soon that was going to be geared towards the March dates. You guys know I started the program 2 weeks late. I was very frazzled, and honestly, even though I had been studying for 2 months, I still didn't get my footing right in regards to balancing studying for the MCAT and work, and plus YouTube and Instagram and stuff on the side. When she told me I should switch to March, I honestly didn't want to hear it because y'all, I'm tired. Like, I want to be done. I know I'm only halfway through, but I'm like, I want to be done with studying for the MCAT. This part of life just isn't fun. I know that sounds so stupid because it's like, oh duh, of course it's not going to be fun. But I just can't explain how like trapped I feel. I feel like I can't do anything. Like I feel like I'm always on go every day. Like there's no resting period. Like I said, I feel burnt out. And even if I just think about me having to tell people that I can't go to their birthday dinner, or making so many sacrifices to do something like going to a birthday dinner. I know that these are things that I'm gonna have to deal with in medical school, but I don't know. For right now, I just wanted this chapter to be over. And so I was really looking forward. I had a countdown in my head and my heart until January. So I did not want to hear March. I said, you know what? We're gonna let God choose. I am going to try and register for a January date. If I need to push it back to March, I'll do that. If not, we're going with January. Well, honey, by the time all 2,000 people in front of me registered for the MCAT, all of the January dates were gone. So crazy right now, but it's 1:21. When I got to the airport, I came down here to the baggage area in order for me to hook up my phone, hook up my computer, charge it or whatever. I got in line, and I literally was in line for over an hour. It's 1:21 now. I'm finally able to book a date. And so I'm going in now. Oh gosh. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do the testing center in Virginia. There's none of it. Don't wanna do one. I don't want to do one in DC because of the parking, and I literally feel like I'm going to throw up. None available in January. This is a disaster. Okay, let me check for the last date. Please. In March. Virginia? Where's that? 72 miles. 72 miles away from home. I'm actually gonna cry. This is a disaster. This is literally the worst thing ever. I guess I just have to take it in DC. It's so bad. This is so bad. So the only ones opened were for March. So I said, you know what? there it is. There it is. The decision was made for me. It was a very stressful day, but I figured it was still a good moment to kind of document. So I will show you guys me registering for the MCAT now. So I set up notifications for me to get any notifications if the testing center, because there's no testing centers in Maryland unless you go all the way to Salisbury. That's like 2 hours away from me. I love DC, but parking and traffic, I didn't want to take a test there. So I was recommended to take the test in Virginia. So I put notifications out for both of the Virginia sites because they're both all sold out for both of the dates in January and in March. So I'm gonna go with the date, Saturday, March 13th. The time is 3 p.m. and this is a location in Washington, D.C. My medical college admissions test. The price is $320 and I am submitting my order. I'm booked. It's scheduled. It's done. $320 for my MCAT exam at 3 p.m. in DC.
Attention all airline passengers.
On March 13th.
The Transportation Security Administration and remove all undeveloped film from your check.
So yes, there you have it. We now have an official date that we are studying towards for the MCAT. We also now are more refocused. I was able, like I said, to restart with the March class. So all of the classes that I took before, I basically just took them again. Now with a more settled start and a greater intention. I'm still figuring out my schedule at work, but for the most part, I am noticing a big difference in both my mood and my overall productivity with having more downtime in my schedule. So yes, that's it. If you guys are wondering what is the reason for this title, yes, I made a big mistake. I made a big mistake by trying to study for the MCAT while also having a full-time job. And I know that a lot of you guys are looking at me as inspiration and you're saying, well, if she can do it, I can do it too. Sis, if you don't have to do it, don't. I personally did this because I thought this is what I had to do. When I was graduating from my graduate program, I thought, okay, next step is to get a full-time job. Graduate, you get a job, you start working. But we have to realize that as untraditional pre-medicine students, our path and our story is going to be different. I am living at home, even though I didn't think I was going to be. I am studying for the MCAT, even though I took it 2 years ago. I am not working full-time because I don't have to pay an enormous amount of rent. And honestly, I'm not saving up for anything but medical school. Only thing that I need from this job is mentors, clinical experience, and I can get that by working less than 40 hours a week. So that's what I chose to do. I completely understand having financial obligations, and so if you have to work full time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. There are plenty of people who do it, but I can just say that for me, it was stressful, honey, and I ain't wanna do it no more. So I'm not. But that is the full update. I am no longer a full-time medical assistant. For now, I am a part-time medical assistant. We have our official MCAT date. It is in March and we're taking it in DC. I'm hoping that dates will open up and I'll be able to at least shift my location over to Virginia. But if not, we'll be taking it in DC in March, and I have restarted my MCAT class. Like I said, now with a new focus. Now I understand the intensity that it takes to study for this MCAT at this level of intensity with my MCAT tutoring program, and I will do so, keeping up with the homework, the review sheets, the progress reports, and all that comes with it. Last but not least, I'm gonna say, I know you guys are gonna ask me more about my MCAT tutoring program. I mentioned it in my last video. Because of my recommendation, a lot of you all have registered for the class using me as a reference, and I got a discount on all of my classes all the way up until March. So thank you to you guys. I know that there are a lot of my double majors who are also in this MCAT program with me. So if that's you, hey girl, hey. Hope you are sticking in there with me. I know it's tough, okay? It's a lot. We tired, but don't burn out. We got this. So that is my MCAT update on my road to medical school. If you guys want to see more of these, make sure to give me a thumbs up. And like I said, subscribe. Follow me on my social media at BrelynnBarbie. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Oh, she's cute.